Town, or what is this?
Just want to give a quick picture of the amount of snow we got driving back up over the pass towards Jackson here this morning. And, I kind of want to get out of town. Like I said, got the pressure's on, though, really, to try to make this shit come together. And the big thing for me, there's a lumberjack team out there in Oregon. I kind of want to go out there just to get some friends in Oregon. I want to see. This shit's not going to start, but I need to preserve the place, and that's the obstacle at the fairgrounds, the rodeo, for like 2 nights a week for basically the rest of the summer. And I don't have the money to do that, So is there a way to go? I talked to the 2 women at the fairgrounds. It's $500 for the day. For the one show, it would be like $200 plus $1 every ticket we sell. I basically just want it for the evenings for the one show, at least 2 nights a week for the rest of the summer. Economically, logistically, is there a way to pay them as we go? I don't know what the technical bankers lingo is for this, but instead of otherwise, how would I come up with that capital? It's just too much. You're talking about $200 twice a week, $400 a week for the rest 3 months. So 400 times 4 is, let's round up to 500. Okay, 500 times 4 is 2,000. It would be $2,000 for a month. 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 bucks for 3 months of just 2 nights a week, reserving that space, rodeo grounds. Now let's look at that. 6,000 bucks for a startup is not. It's a drop in the bucket for if you're comparing it towards even starting a business like a gas station. Starting any number of different businesses. Of course, we're going to need the tools. We're going to need the lumber. We're not. That's just the venue. But $6,000 for the venue is attainable. You know what I mean? It's attainable. It's not something that I'm going to have personally to throw at this. I would have to come up with that money some other way, get an investor, get a partner, and which ultimately I think is a positive, having someone else on board with this thing, so that it's not like we don't run the risk of this. Just a lot of times having someone else on board actually helps you succeed, just because like me doing the YouTube right here, it keeps you on track. You're talking to someone, you're bouncing ideas off them, they have advice, they have guidance that they can offer you, they can participate. There's lots of pros to working with other people, so you don't want to lose sight of that. Anyway, real quick, let's just try to capture the snowy mountains there on video. Driving up over the pass, really got hammered with that snow. It was unexpected last night, and I just want to stop in there and talk to them and be like, I just want to get a feel for that. Of course, if we did it $500 a night for the entire day for the show, that would change that a lot, right? Because it's not $200; it's twice as much. So it's $500 twice a week. That's $1,000 a week, and that's trying to do multiple lumberjack shows a day. $1,000 a week for just the 2 days, 2 different days where we potentially do multiple shows. And on that front, we would have $1,000 a week, 4 weeks, and gotta shift this car. 4 weeks in a month, 4,000 in a month, 3 months runs up to $4,000, $8,000, $12,000 versus $6,000. Now, of course, that's saying we're going to try to do multiple shows every day and we're going to reserve it for the whole day. I don't think we need to do that, though. I got to stop doing this. Try to drive this car instead. But I don't think we need to do that to make a profit margin. I don't think we want the whole place during the heat of the day. I think, talking to one of the guys at the chamber, he said most of the people come in off the river at like 4 p.m. and he's like, maybe you can do a couple shows at 4 p.m. and one later. But I just think one show a night. If we're gonna reserve that thing, later on once we do it a few times, we can try to do that. But let's say we try to reserve it for 2 nights, 2 nights a week for the first from mid-May to June, and and get penciled in for the rest. So we would have enough to reserve it for. Put $200 down, so $50 an hour, $200 down for 2 nights a week. So it'd be $400 for 1 week. It's just a lot of money, $400 for 1 week, and we'll put 4 weeks down, and we'll get penciled in for the rest in advance for the rest of the summer, and pay month to month like that. So 4 weeks down, $400 a week, $800, $1,200, $1,600 down. So to reserve it for 2 nights of the week, that location for our lumberjack show for the first month, we would put down $1,200 up front as a deposit on the space, and I think they want a deposit on top of that. That's the danger with all this, and that, whatever safety deposit they want too. And then when we get to the next month, just like it was a storage unit, we would pay the next $1,200 for the next month, and then for the final month, we would pay that $1,200 too when that time came. So that would make it so we could basically pay month to month for our 2 days a week, doing the $1,200. And I think this is coming out right. It's $200, $50 an hour for the 1 night of the show, and let's just see how much snow we got up here. And probably a $500 deposit to start out. So $400, $800, $1,200, $1,600 plus $500, $2,100. $500 deposit plus 1 month down at 2 days a week, $200 each one for an hour show, $50 on each side. It gives you a ballpark of what we have to try to invest just at that venue. Are we going to be responsible for ticketing? Are they responsible for ticketing? Again, I think it's important to to have all this shit clear in advance. Anyway, just kind of clearing up over the mountain here. I'm looking forward to getting back down to Jackson. I'm going to have to turn this off and baby the car. You see a lot of people that are out skiing. That's really cool. I gotta turn this thing off now. Make sure we get down safely. And real quick, additionally, I threw some sunscreen on there and got over the pass, headed down the mountain here. But additionally, really quick, what do we have to do for numbers? You just take a look at the valley there. Hopefully you see it out the window here. What do we have to do for numbers to break even or make a profit in this scenario in terms of investing in the venue alone? So we're looking at that venue, which is a prime venue like we've talked about, but we're talking about $1,200 a month for 2 shows a week, a total of 1, 2, 4 weeks. So 8 shows in a month for $1,200. Divide 1,200 by 8, and you get like 1.75 or something like that. So whatever that, 1.7500. I have to just do the math here in a second. But for us to be able to pay for that amount, I was doing the math before, and it's like you do 100 people at $40 a shot. That's $4,000 for 1 show. If you pull that in, right? That's pretty good. You've got $100, you got $40 a person, 100 people. You've got $4,000. Now you've put in for that 1 show $200, and because you did 100 people out of your 4,000, you lose 100 because we're paying the venue for 1 ticket of each person, right? So we've lost 1 ticket for each person, and we've lost the initial 200 out of 4,000, assuming we do 100 people in 1 show. So $4,000 gross profit there, and that's just 100. The seating can do way more than that. It can do 2,400 maximum, and they say they can see at the rodeo like 1,500. So we could do more than 100, but I'm just saying, let's say we do 100. We might not do as many as 100, but let's just say we do 100. 100 people come to our lumberjack show. We spent $200 to reserve the space for the night. They have a good time. We do a great show, and we charge them $40 a piece. We gross $4,000, $200 going back to the venue, an additional $100 because there's $1 off every ticket, and that leaves us with, out of the total of 4,000, we're only down $300. So we're clearing $3,700 off of that one show. And out of that, we have to pay the staff, we have to deal with the equipment, this, that, and the other thing. But honestly, it's not, it's really, considering we're dealing with a venue with a 2,400 person capacity. So, if we get this thing rolling, we do a good job, we got a couple hundred people there. Say, let's do 200 people, 200 tickets at $40 a shot, and there you go. You begin to see the potential. All of a sudden, it's $8,000. We're only paying the venue $300. We're paying the venue $400, and we're clearing $7,600 off of the one night show. So now when you begin to pay people out of that kind of money, and you begin to run it, you can totally do it. I mean, just look how much. I mean, my car costs $10,000. It's a used car. And or it costs $8 something. It costs $10,000, and I got it with 90,000 miles on it. But I'm just trying to prove the point. In one night of a show, we can, if we did 150 people, we'll be making you'd be making that kind of money. You know what I mean? So now let's just let's be more conservative with our estimate. Let's say we didn't do 100 people at $40 a person. We did 50 people at $40 a person. So it's half of 4,000. It's a $2,000 profit. We did 50 people, which is still good, and we still have to pay them the $200 plus the $50 one for every ticket. So we do $2,000 profit, and we pay the venue $250. We're left with $1,750 for our show. Now, it's key that this is only taking one evening, so this isn't a full-time job. We're not bringing people in with the mindset that it's a full-time job. It's a one-night thing. But still, we have to have people to be able to excel and do it. But it just gives you a picture of the math that we really almost need to be really focused on getting above, what we want to sell. We want to have at least 200 people for our show, and that way we're pulling in $8,000. If we really want to go like 500 people, and then all of a sudden it's 100's 4,000, 4,000 times 5. 8,000, 12,000, 16, $20,000. You know what I mean? So 400 people in a 2,400 person venue, 400 people is pretty solid, and we're grossing $20,000. You know what I mean? So how do we guarantee with our marketing and our strategy that sort of ticket sale numbers? You know what I mean? How aggressive do we have to be? Do we have to put money into that too in advance? I just think the business end of this is a lot of people, they're like the music artist, or even as a writer, you're the writer, but in terms of art, trying to get your music, this is the same sort of thing. These are the numbers, this is the hard economics. You need to be able to sell shit. So it's forcing this sort of moment. It's like my tourism background is forcing me into the role where, can we get contracts with the hotels? You know what I mean? Can we do sales like in Denali Park, where you're doing a sled dog tour and a rafting tour in conjunction with each other? Can you do, there's not as much snow down here, you can see down in Wilson. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at. It's you have to be creative, you have to be innovative, you have to be aggressive with your sales, and you have to be, maybe I cannot put anything down except the $500 deposit, period, and say we want it for two nights a week for the duration, and duration of the summer, the 2 nights a week, pick the 2 different days, have it be consistent, and be like, we'll get you the $500 down, and not even pay you month to month, and then pay you the day of every show, pay them then. You know what I mean? The $200 because maybe it'll take us a little bit longer or a little bit. So maybe it takes us half an hour longer to reserve it, and then the 2 hours because we're taking too long to break down or whatever. We'd have to pay them more. So, but that would buy us some time, so we don't have to come up with this huge chunk of money. Now, $6,000 over the course of the summer for that venue, plus a $500 deposit, considering it's, again, I'm just trying to say this again to do the math. We've got $200 for 4 hours, $50 an hour for the one evening show. So $200 twice a week, 400 4 times in a month, 4 weeks in a month is 800, 1200, 1600 in a. I think I just rounded it up and called it 2,000. So it's like 2,000 a month for the venue, and 3 months, 3.5 months, you're looking at 6,500 plus the 500 deposit, 7,000 at the most for that venue just to reserve it for 2 nights a week for the summer, right? All things considered, not insurmountable, but not something out of pocket I have. I would have to have an investor. But the point is, can we go to these guys and be like, here's your $500 for the venue. Those are the dates we want it. Can we pay you the day of? Here's a check for $200 the day of the thing. They might not go for that, but if it takes us longer to break down or whatever, we would have to pay them and just pay them the day of every time we do it, because they're going to need the $1 off every ticket sale too. Can they do the ticket sales? There's a lot of loose ends. I'm really glad I drove back down here because I do want to talk to them again, and kind of want to sketch out a couple different options just like I described on paper and talk to them with that shit, because when we go into this, again, it's not a full-time position for like a lumberjack or whatever, but like I need to have full-time commitments, even if it's only twice a week. So that's the deal with getting local people and deal, all the obstacles and everything else. But it's sort of exciting. It's good to look at it again. Anyway, take a quick break here.